All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. Have you seen those build plates that put the cool little hologram on the bottom of the build surface or on the bottom of the print that you've done? I have, and I've seen a couple of them on our live stream, so I thought it would be really cool to test some of them out. So straight from Amazon, I got two different ones that have two different hologram patterns on there for us to test out today. So if you've been wondering what those things look like and if they work or anything like that, then today's video is great for you because we're going to try out two random ones from Amazon. I'll leave the link down in the description below. But we'll see what effect it has on it. And I do want to do a couple of different colors as well as a couple of different materials. Each of these build plates can print different materials other than just PLA and PETG. So we'll try a couple of those different types of filaments and a couple of different colors and see if any of those have a different effect and what each of them looks like. So if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax and I'll get everything ready. All right, so one of the build plates that we'll be looking at is this PEY build plate that has this cool starry pattern. And it has two different build surfaces on here, a PEY and a PEI. And the difference is in the things that they print. And we'll be using the PEI today because it prints all of the things that we want it to print. But the PEY does PLA, TPU, and PETG, whereas the PEI does all of that with PLA, carbon fiber, PC, and ABS and nylon type of filaments. And it leaves this cool little starry pattern on there. So we'll, print a couple of things out and we'll see what it looks like in different colors and with some different filaments. All right, and the second build plate that we'll be looking at also has two sides, but it just has two different patterns that it puts on there. One's these light beams or whatever I think it calls it here. And the other one is Phantom, which leaves a really cool pattern on there. And I think I've seen a couple of people use this in the live stream and the prints that they've sent in. And this one looks pretty cool, so we'll test that one as well. This one just says that it can do PLA, TPU, PETG, and ABS. It does say that it can go all the way up to 200C, so we'll try the PLA carbon fiber since we're doing it on the other one as well. I think we'll be fine even though it doesn't specifically say that, but we'll also test out PETG and possibly ABS. And on this one, we'll try out both sides of it and look at both of the patterns that it puts on there as well. So now let's get everything in Fusion set up and let's set up a little test piece that we can print very simply and very quickly in there. So I'll meet you in Fusion here in just a moment. All right, so here we are in Fusion 360, and I think it'd be cool if we just made like a little 2-inch or 50 millimeter by 50 millimeter, little plate that we can print very quickly and very easily, and maybe even do print by object on here. And print a couple of different samples on these plates so we can test out what kind of surface that it puts on our prints. So let's go ahead and go to the top view here in Fusion 360, hit our drawing tool, select that plane, select a box, and we'll make a box that is 50 by 50. Finish our sketch, hit E for extrude. We'll make it 3 millimeters thick. And as simple as that, nothing too crazy there. You could also use Tinkercad or something like that. Another thing that you could try this out on is your coasters or, like a little sample coaster or circle or something like that. And I think, putting this on the coasters would be a really good use case for these hologram build plates. I think those would add a nice little extra touch to them. And that's why I got a couple of different ones to see the different, patterns that they're going to leave on there. So this plate should be sufficient for us mouse to do that. So let's go ahead and go over here, hit 3D print, select the object that we want to print, and I'll go ahead and hit OK, and I'll meet you in Bamboo Studio. All right, so here we are in Bamboo Studio, and we'll go ahead and start printing out some of these different plates. So the first one that we'll start with is the PEI plate that has the Starry pattern on it. And I think we'll be able to do 4 of these using the print by object. So it'll print one, go to the next one, print it, go to the next one, print it, go to the next one, and print it. And that way it'll definitely shorten up the time of a multicolor print. So it's not, doing a filament change in between each layer as it goes through here. So let's go ahead and clone this 3 times to give us a total of 4. And we'll go ahead and space these out kind of in the corner. And then I do have a couple of different filaments loaded here. So let's go ahead and take a look at what these look like with different colors. So this first one here we'll leave as the PLA CF in black. And then I thought it would be cool to use the basic in black as well. So we'll hit number 5 there. And we'll see that it has our transition tower. And then I do have 2 rolls of the basic in here because I want to use up one of these rolls. So we'll use one in white, which I think will have a pretty good effect. And then for this one, let's try a red color, so a little bit brighter color, and see what that does there. All right, so now under others, we're going to go down to slicing mode. Print sequence, we're going to change that from by layer to by object. So now what that'll do is it'll print this object, then this one, or whatever order that it's going to go into, but it'll print the different objects instead of doing each layer and doing a layer change. So you'll see that we don't need a prime tower or anything like that anymore. And if you get these too close, you'll see it has these kind of boundaries on there to keep you from doing that. So I will show you the difference here. So if we slice the plate with print by object, we're looking at about 43 minutes to print these 4 little plates right here, which isn't bad at all. So if I change this back to layer and have it do the prime tower and do that by every layer, it's 2 hours and 3 minutes that it increases it to, and it increases the amount of filament and everything that you're using as well. So if you've never used the print by object and you have different objects, or you're printing the same object and you want to print it in different colors, always remember under others right here that there's this neat little trick to print by object that saves a ton of time and a bunch of filament as well, and you can get these out in a much quicker, more efficient manner. So let me go ahead and get the Starry build plate in there, and we'll go ahead and get this printed, and I'll see you in about 45 minutes. All right, so the first plate that we'll look at is the Starry patterned one, and it looks really, really cool, and you can kind of see the pattern and everything on there, so it looks really, really cool. So we'll get this one set in there, and we'll get the first samples printed out, and let me show you how to turn off the plate detector. So when you're using these plates, they don't have the little markers that the bamboo plates have. So if you don't, you'll get an error message, or you can just turn it off from checking for the plate markers and everything. But how cool. And on the other side, you really don't see that, but on this black side, wow, that it just really stands out. So let's get this loaded and get a print going. All right, so let's take a look at the first prints here. And the first one that we'll look at is the carbon fiber. And as you can see, it does put a really cool effect on there. So that's the PLA carbon fiber. The PLA Basic really pops out. I mean, you can really see it. Here's the white, which is really hard to see. White, I don't think, is a good color. Maybe for some specific applications, but you can barely see that on there. And then again with the red, it puts a cool little thing on the bottom of here. So the last thing that we'll try on this plate is let's try clear PETG, since I have that handy. So let's check that out and see what a clear one looks like on here. And then I'll do a yellow ABS, and we'll take a look at what those two look like on this plate, and then we'll go to the next plate. So let me get everything loaded up, and we'll go ahead and print with the PETG clear and some yellow ABS. All right, now you'll see that we only have 2 of these on the plate right here. So let's go ahead and switch to the clear PETG that I have loaded here and the ABS that's loaded here. So on this one, I'll just hit the number 7. That gets the clear for us. And this one, I'll hit number 6. And that gets the ABS for us. So let's go ahead and slice the plate. And 27 minutes that it's going to take to get it done on there. So let's go ahead and print the plate. And we won't do the flow calibration because that really doesn't work on these type of plates. And we'll go ahead and get that printed. I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so let's take a look at the PETG. And really, I don't really see the pattern on the clear. It has a really smooth finish to it, but I don't really see the pattern on it. And on the ABS, you can definitely see the pattern on there. I don't know if it'll show up with this color on camera, but you can definitely see the sparkles and everything on there. So I'll be honest, I was a little bit skeptical of the Starry pattern one. I didn't think it would do too much of that, or too much of a pattern, but I was super impressed with these other ones. It's really cool. So let's now flip it over on the other side, on the gold side, and run a couple of the PLA. We'll just do a black and a red of the PLA and see what that looks like on the gold side of it. So everything up to this point we've been printing on this side. So now let's do a print on this side and see what happens. All right, now that we have the plate flipped over, let's go back and do a PLA basic, which is number 5 on the keyboard and number 5 over here. And then let's do the PLA in red, which is the number 8 right here. And let's go ahead and print that on the other side and see what the effect is on the gold side there. So we'll go ahead and slice it, and I'll see you in 25 minutes. All right, now let's take a look at the gold side of that, and that really put like a textured finish on it, but I don't really see the hologram on here too much, no matter how I put the light on there. So it has a cool little texture to it, much like the gold PEI plate from Bamboo, but you don't see the hologram in it as much. There's a little kind of shine to it, but I don't see, it's not as pronounced as it is on the smoother side. So let's go ahead and move on to the next plate. All right, so here we are. We have another print set up again. So we have the carbon fiber, the PLA basic, PLA basic, PLA basic. So we'll go ahead and get this printed out, and we'll see what the phantom plate looks like. So I'll see you in about 45 minutes. All right, so now let's take a look at the phantom. And this one, for sure, just pops off the bottom of this thing. This one is really good. This is the PLA CF, and you can see really good on there. And this is the just normal PLA. And even the white, where we didn't see very good before, I don't know if we can, how well the camera is going to pick this up, but you can really see it on this one. So that makes me believe we should try the clear PETG again and see if that does something on this one. And then the red again. So it looks like even the darker colors on here have that as well. So I really, really like this one. It really pops off the page. So let's jump into Bamboo Studio and let's get the clear PETG as well as the ABS set up, and let's go ahead and get that printed. All right, so now let's get this set up for just doing the clear PETG and the ABS. So we'll set this one with number 7 for the clear PETG and number 6 again for the ABS. We'll go ahead and get this sliced. Looks like about 26 minutes. Let's get this printed and I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so let's take a look at the clear one first. And you can see the hologram or holographic stuff on there. It's not as like bright as some of the other stuff, but you can still see it on this clear one, and it does leave a really cool surface on it, and it's like glass on it. Looks really, really cool. And then the ABS, same thing. It really, really pops off there. It looks like the darker the color, the better it shows up. But both of those work just fine on there. So let's flip it over to the beam side. I'll clean all of those fingerprints off, and let's print the same thing on the beams and see how that turns out. All right, so now we have everything set up for the beam side of the build plate. So we have our carbon fiber here, white basic, black basic, and red basic. So let's go ahead and get that sliced, and I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so let's take a look at the first print from the beam side of it. And, looking at it, I didn't think it would do much to it. But this actually adds a whole different dimension in there. Whereas the other two were shapes, now there's like these lines that go across the bottom. And it looks really, really cool. So this is the carbon fiber, the black PLA basic, and as you can see now there's not like little star shapes or little shapes like the Phantom one, but it's like lines that go all the way down it. And I thought the lines were only in certain spots, but as you can see, as I move it, it moves kind of all the way down the print. The white's a little bit harder to see, but it is on there. And then let's take a look at the red. Yeah, the red looks really, really cool. So that worked out really cool, and actually that one really, really, really surprised me with how well that turned out. So let's go ahead and print the clear PETG and the ABS and see what that turns out like. All right, so here we are back in Bamboo Studio, and as you can see, I have the clear PETG selected, the ABS selected. So let's go ahead and slice the plate, and I'll see you in about 27 minutes. All right, so let's take a look at these prints. And on the clear, you can kind of see it, but again, not really. It's not something that is really going to stand out on clear from what I see. And on the PETG, we'll see that there's a little bit of separation in the layers there as well. On the ABS, this is the first layer outline right there that kind of curled up as it was printing. But it went ahead and printed everything, and it turned out really good. So again, the beam one was very, very surprising on there, and it worked on the ABS and it worked on this yellowish color as well. But I did have a little bit of a print error there. So now let's get into printing on these with something that I think where this might be useful, and it might add that extra little touch to your prints. So what I thought would be cool is we can take this coaster that we made in the carbon fiber prints before, and we'll go ahead and print that with the hologram plates. We'll use these three colors on each plate. We'll just use the PLA basic instead of using the PLA carbon fiber, even though that works. Let's do it with just the PLA basic, because I think PLA basic is what looked the best. So we'll do the same Spider-Man coaster here, but we'll use these three colors instead, and we'll see what that looks like on each of the two plates. I'll do both sides of the Phantom and the Beam. We won't do the gold side of the other one, and we'll just do the Starry side of the first plate that we tried. So let's move over to Bamboo Studio and get those three prints started. All right, so here we are back in Bamboo Studio. Here's the coaster loaded up with all the settings and everything, the 0.16. So let's go ahead and lay this on its face, and we'll see that this side is the face of it and not the other side. So we'll go ahead and lay that on this face. We want that face down, and that'll be where the hologram pattern is. So let's move this over, and now we can go to objects and kind of paint everything that we want. So we do want the back of the coaster to be black, the spider to be black. We want the Spider-Man words to be white, so we'll choose number 3 for the PLA basic white. We do need to change to 5 on the black here, and 5 on the black here, and we might as well put 5 on this one and change everything again. That way it doesn't try to put the carbon fiber stuff in there at all. So the spider will be black, this part will be red, this part will be white, and then the back of it will be black. Very similar to the other coaster that we made when we used the carbon fiber, but we'll just use the normal PLA this time. So I'll go ahead and print these out. They take about an hour, I think. Yeah, about an hour and 10 minutes each to print. So I'll see you in 3 hours when they all get done. All right, so let's take a look at the coasters. And the first thing that I'll say is probably could use some filament tuning with this. I do see some layer separation or, some line separation there. But that's not really the point of the video, but I would recommend that. But you can see that adds a really cool touch to something like a coaster or a keychain or something like that. You can really see, this one's like sparkly. This one has, some cool shapes. And this one has, cool lines on it or whatever. So it turned out really cool. One trick to have, and I'll leave a link for these as well, is if you have a microfiber cloth, be sure to use that. Or if you don't have that, I'll leave a link to some below. But clean the plate with that, because the part that's doing that is super, small, and even your fingerprint can mess that up, and it can even mess up the print and everything, and it won't stick in the right place. So I found that a microfiber cloth and just cleaning it really, really well helped out with that and kept that down to a minimum. So the answer to the question, are these worth buying? Heck yeah, I would say get some of these. These will really add a special touch to some of the prints that you have. You may need to do a little bit of filament tuning on it. But I think these will add a really, really cool touch to some of the prints that you have and put, another creative tool in your arsenal. So be sure to pick up one of these and, have some fun with it. And, join me on Saturday evenings as we live stream and show me some pictures of some of these that you guys have created. So be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another video. And I hope everybody has a good rest of their week. And thanks for watching.
Thank you.